Joel Wakayima. Welcome to
Waka.
Tembe.
Thank you very much.
Yes, now we want to know who is Joel.
Yeah, good question. First of all, I want to thank you, producer, for hosting me, for allowing me to use this very, very big voice in the region to talk about our predicament as a country. We have been struggling, and the Kenyans are aware that we have been struggling with the dictator. And the Kenyans have many times sympathized with us. For example, myself, I was swept into the status of a refugee, and the Kenyans took me up. And I spent like 7 years in Nairobi and other places in Kenya. So I want to thank Kenyans as well, producer, and through you, please thank them for me, for having helped us. But they are still helping us. Now, the thing is, we have been tortured. We have been in prison. Personally, I was in prison 70 times for no reason other than just talking to people. You know, they call it in Uganda, they call it illegal assembly, that you are assembling illegally. But I mean, I'm in my country. How can I assemble illegally? You know, what is legal and what's illegal assembly? So I was in prison 70 times. I was swept into torture chambers until some people helped me by urging me to get out of the country. And then I landed in Kenya. And then from Kenya, again, other people came to my rescue and helped me to move on to Europe. But I didn't stop. And I have been an activist, trying to drum for change using peaceful means for a long time. But now I think we have exhausted all means, and I think we are on the brink of taking the struggle to another level. And I think Kenyans and Ugandans and East Africans, for that matter, will not be surprised if we have made an announcement that we are going to use all means to make sure we remove the regime that is murdering, that is corrupt, that is stealing land, that is taking the Ugandans into slavery, and it's not only taking them into slavery, but they make sure that if you fall sick, you go to hospital. There's no medicine, and if you are not lucky, they can even remove some of the organs you have in your body and sell them, and then you go back with a missing kidney. The stories are all over the place, the producer. The stories are all over the place. So that's, in a nutshell, that is the Joel Wakayima.
Okay, yesterday, Kizza Besigye was on NTV, and he talked about the promotion of Muhonzi as the president in waiting. What do you think about it?
It's a tragedy. If anybody would be talking about Muhoozi being president, because Muhoozi has never passed a class. That is the beginning part. When he was in P3, he was drinking alcohol. The father himself is on record saying this is a useless drunkard. He's on record. If the father of that man is saying he's useless drunkard, who is promoting Muhoozi to be what? He can't even be headmaster for information. He can't be headmaster in primary school. So I'm really at pains to understand who is promoting Muhoozi, for what purpose. Muhoozi is just a waste of space. I mean, how can you be the son of a president, but you need 12 teachers to coach you, to teach you, to pass P5? That is Muhoozi for you. Muhoozi went to Sandhurst when he was just being pushed to go to Sandhurst, the Royal College, military college, Sandhurst. An Australian man wrote a wrong article about Muhoozi, saying, man, I can't understand. How did this man end up here? The guy had nothing to do with Sandhurst, nothing to do with the military. When he comes back, you had some officers in the military, actually some of them were killed, like Kasile Bwanga, Kano, was killed because of that. He said, I cannot salute that man. Who is he? that's when Muhoz comes back. He's a captain this month. The next week is a major. Then you hear is a lieutenant general. Then you hear is now a general after making a very bogus statement about Kenya. Muhoz is made a full general. So that's how he's been rising. Now they want him to be president, finally. So he's just passing through stages without any effort. So that's the tragedy. That's why I call it a tragedy. And I can tell you, some of us are saying, over my dead body, that man cannot be president of Uganda. Of course, already we are pissed off with this man, the old man. Now, how can Muhoozi jump and become from nothingness to become president? A person who has been accused of even raping women in a disco. That is real. And the records are all over the place. He raped a woman. The woman was married. The man committed suicide because he couldn't understand what's going on. The man felt that maybe the kid they have is not even his own kid. We don't know whether he made some DNA tests, but he committed suicide and the guy is dead. So that one is covered. Nobody's talking about it. That is more for you.
Okay, now you have a petition that you want the Uganda people to sign to stop the Museveni from taking the troops to DRC. Why so?
Yes, that's another very good question. One, we have been, as I said, we have been trying to use all methods, all avenues to ensure that the international community, including Kenyans, by the way, this one is not even just Ugandans, it's for East Africans. Because if you read the topic, we are saying East African citizens have got to oppose this. Because we wanted to explore all avenues, including the petition, including other legal lawsuits elsewhere that we are trying to put together. There are lawsuits which are coming up. Okay. East African Court is going to be petitioned as well, okay, and the international community and the UN Security Council. But your question is why? The petition is trying to urge people to see the reason not to allow murderers, people who have murdered in big numbers. We have many cases, people who can testify in courts of law. These are murderers, these are rapists. They undressed a woman and shaved her pubic hair in public. It's on record. They undressed women in Kasese after invading the royal palace in a very embarrassing way. And those pictures are all over the place. So these are the people who are saying they are taking the peace to Congo. These are people whom I've already described as being led by Muhoozi. And Muhoozi is not a general. Because has been going through, is that a paper general? Now, there's no professionalism. Why do you take that kind of garbage to Congo? Why are you exporting garbage? Instead of exporting what we have like cassava, why are we exporting the army, which is bogus? And it's just a complete waste of time. So that's why we are saying, please let us open our eyes and not wait. Because the more we wait on these things, the more we become laughing stock elsewhere. People think, what is East Africa doing? How can we allow these people to deploy? Now, Congolese are pissed off with us. They think all of us are thieves. You've seen, they don't respect Ugandans because we are not doing enough to show that actually these people are thieves, these people are murderers. They should not be involved in East African politics. Kenyans, they can't be there. Honestly speaking, these are professional people. Kenya has not been involved in this thing. So even a coup, Kenya, we've not seen a coup because the military has been performing its work. It's law. The military has not been involved in obvious human rights abuses. Like in Uganda, we have like 70 mass graves. Are you aware? These things are being committed by the military in the first place because the people who have got guns, they have guns, they have the repressive apparatus, they can invade anybody and do anything they want. Okay, they have given people poison. They are poisoning everybody who talks against them. Okay, they have tried to poison me. Okay, but I'm still here and I think I'm still continuing to talk about them and talk about them. So the petition is for all of us. If I may repeat the question, I may answer the question of strict, directly. The petition is all of us who think that we see common sense in following the rule of law, in following democratic principles. We must not accept people who have failed those things to go and purport to export peace. They don't have any peace to export because we don't have peace in Uganda. What are they exporting? How can they keep peace in the Congo? Well, we don't have it in Uganda. If we are trying a referendum in Uganda and ask every man on the street and even in their houses and say, do you have peace in Uganda? How many are going to say, man, what are you talking about? There's no peace in Uganda. Because peace is not the simple absence of war as we know it. See, peace is a lot of things. So it's simply because there's no war. But there's no war anyway. There's war in Uganda. People are dying on the streets. People are dying in their bedrooms. People are dying in hospitals. It's like there's some kind of belligerence in the country. So, in a nutshell, we are not supposed to deploy in the Congo. And I think Congolese are going to be happy for this because we want to reach out to them and say, please, we are not part of these thieves. These are thieves. It's a criminal gang which came and invaded us. We have our reasons. We have seen. You have reported to Amnesty. We have reported to International Transparency International. We have reported it to UN. We have reported to EU. Our documents are there. Okay. Lawyers, international lawyers have received our complaints. So please, we're not thieves. We're not in Congo to steal from you. Anybody who is purporting to be Uganda, they can't with some slogan is that we're going to keep peace. Those are thieves. And it's to be called so, and let us isolate them and deal with them through petitioning and even the other means, as I said. All other means are still on the table to isolate them and fight them.
Now Museveni has been in power for the longest time. I think before I was born. How do you guys think you can remove him?
Yeah, actually, he has been in power for very long, as you said, before even you were born, correctly. But we have been so tolerant, and because we are peaceful people, that's why he came that far. We are peaceful. We have been tortured since he came. As early as 1987, Museveni was robbing Ugandans through currency exchange. That was a robbery, good robbery. And everybody can talk to you about that. You're a journalist. Everybody can talk to you. Then in 1987, he killed somebody called Dr. Andrew Kaira, a man of peace himself. The guy who had accepted to work with him, the guy had guns. The guy put out the guns and said, no, in the interest of peace, let me put these guns aside and talk to this man. The guy comes out of the bush and says, let us stop. The guy was murdered in cold blood. Everybody is aware about that. That was 87 when he had just come. Now, the years that followed were just years of bizarre happenings, bizarre massacres, bizarre wanton killings happening, including a Mukura massacre where people were just put in a train wagon and then fire was introduced in the wagon. And those are Ugandans. Then when you count the mass graves, as I said earlier, you simply shudder. Mass grave after mass grave. How many have we stumbled upon in this regime? And Museveni is simply presiding over mass graves. So he has been in power for long, but still, humanity is humanity. It's like water. Humanity behaves like water. You can't compress water for long. It will fight back. It always fights back. It can't be compressed for long. So that's humanity. We have been tolerant. We have been peaceful. We were not power hungry. None of us is power hungry. Actually, we thought other people could lead us. Me personally, I thought Dr. Kaira could lead Uganda. I've already thought Wapa Kabolo could lead Uganda. I thought Dr. Chikun could lead. And I even thought Bob Wine could lead Uganda. Why not? Because leading a country is not like lifting a 6-kilogram load on your head. It's not. Because you point fingers. You tell, I want a bridge there, and some engineers will turn up. You say, I want that road, please. And some people will turn up and do the work. And then you work on the payment and the politics around the payments. So Bob Wine could lead Uganda as well. Basically, could be president of Uganda. I thought. But right now, I think most of them have been really subdued. Now, some of us have to rise and say, please, let us try to ask for this thing. and then get it and then use it to change the country. And that's why we are where we are. We shall get there.
Yeah. Okay, now can you talk to Ugandans before we end? Talk to them about the petition that you are following up.
Yeah, to Ugandans, I want to make a very, very honest appeal. There is nothing that is singularly responsible for the removal of the dictatorship. The dictatorship will go if we follow the approach that you can call a multi-pronged approach. We need a multi-pronged approach where we can use petitions, we can use lawsuits to continue dewinging the regime, remove the wings. Petition is here, lawsuits, uprising, sit-downs, sit-ins, resistance here, popular and unpopular, where it requires even violence, like using stones. We'll just use them because we don't have much to do now. We have exhausted all things. We should use anything that is available. People are even suggesting that we can use human waste. We can use human waste to throw some heaps of human waste on the doorsteps of these people, these gangs in the government. And maybe it can scare them. Poo-poo. We can use poo-poo. You throw poo-poo out at the doorstep until somebody stumbles on the poo-poo and they say, oh, people are pissed off. Like people used to use rotten eggs. A rotten egg and the poo-poo are in the same category. So I think we're going to advocate for that as well. Otherwise, Ugandans have to really, really, really wake up on this, sign the petition. If you can't sign online, write a name on a paper and find somebody to post it or to send it to us, and we shall just present it to people who matter. But let us talk. Let us continue talking. Let us talk. Let us not get tired. Let us talk and say, please, this regime belongs to some dustbin of history. Let us push it to that waste bin. That's how we can do it.
Thank you. I think those are your final ones. So we will tell the Ugandans. I've already posted the link on the comment section. Whoever wants to sign, they can go there and sign it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for hosting me.